You ever find yourself lying awake at 3 a.m., replaying a conversation from 5 years ago? You're mentally editing your responses, cringing at what you said, convinced everyone still remembers that one awkward comment. You think you're just an overthinker, that it's just a personality quirk. But psychology says it's something deeper. It's a pattern, a defense mechanism your brain has wired to protect you. If this feels personal, keep watching. We all have these highlight reels of our worst moments, don't we? Remember when you finally got that opportunity you'd been dreaming of? That job interview, that first date, that chance to present your big idea. Everything was going great, and then, you did it. You found a reason it wouldn't work. You convinced yourself you weren't ready, you weren't good enough, or that something would inevitably go wrong. So you pulled back. You made an excuse, missed a deadline, or said the wrong thing on purpose, just to end the suspense. You sabotaged it. And in that moment of failure, didn't a strange sense of relief wash over you? The pressure was gone. You were safe again. That's the paradox of self-sabotage. It feels like self-destruction, but to your brain, it's an act of survival. Let me explain. Your brain's number one job isn't to make you happy. It's to keep you alive. And to do that, it prioritizes predictability over anything else. The unknown is terrifying to our primitive wiring. Failure, on the other hand, is a known quantity. You've been there before. You know what it feels like. You know you can survive it. Success, that's new territory. It comes with new expectations, new pressures, new ways to fail. It's a bigger risk. So, when you're on the verge of a breakthrough, your brain's alarm system can go haywire. It flags this new, uncertain, positive future as a threat. It screams, danger, unknown territory ahead, abort mission. And that little voice in your head, the one that whispers all your deepest insecurities, gets very, very loud. You're going to be exposed as a fraud. You'll just disappoint them later. It's safer to fail now, on your own terms, and you listen. Because that voice sounds like your own. It sounds like logic. It's your brain trying to protect you from a bigger, more painful fall later on. So you create a self-fulfilling prophecy. You overthink every possible negative outcome until you're paralyzed. You procrastinate on the very things that could move you forward. You pick fights with people who support you. You engage in behaviors that confirm your deepest fear, that you are not worthy of success or happiness. Let's just sit with that for a moment. The very thing you want is the thing your brain is trying to protect you from. It's a vicious cycle. The self-sabotage leads to the outcome you feared, which reinforces the belief that you weren't good enough in the first place. See, your brain says, "I told you so. Good thing we got out of there." This creates a feedback loop that keeps you stuck, replaying the same patterns, living the same fears, wondering why you can't seem to break free. You think you lack discipline or willpower, but really, you're wrestling with a deeply ingrained survival instinct. This isn't a character flaw, it's a misguided protection strategy. Think back to your childhood or teenage years. Was there a time when being too visible, too successful, or too happy brought negative attention? Maybe you were praised for something and then teased for being a noob. Maybe you shared good news and it was met with jealousy or dismissal. Our brains learn from these experiences. They create rules. Don't stand out. Don't get your hopes up. It's safer to play small. These old, outdated rules are still running in the background of your mind, like an old operating system, influencing your decisions today. So you overthink. You analyze every text, every email, every facial expression, searching for hidden meanings, for proof that things are about to go wrong. Overthinking isn't just thinking a lot. It's a compulsive search for certainty in a world that has none. And because you can never be 100% certain, the search never ends. It just drains your energy, fuels your anxiety, and keeps you from taking meaningful action. It's the ultimate tool of self-sabotage because it allows you to stay in the planning and worrying phase forever, without ever having to risk the doing part. Comment mind if this described you. Breaking this pattern isn't about fighting your brain. It's about understanding it and retraining it. It starts with awareness. You have to catch yourself in the act. When you feel that familiar pull to procrastinate, to pick a flaw, to find an exit pause, name it. Ah, there it is. That's my brain trying to keep me safe from an imaginary threat. By observing the thought instead of becoming it, you create a little bit of space, and in that space you have a choice. The antidote to the fear of the unknown isn't certainty, it's courage. The courage to take one small, imperfect step, not a giant leap. Just send the email, make the call, write one paragraph. The goal isn't to leap from point A to point Z. The goal is to prove to your brain that you can survive point B. You need to gather new evidence. Every time you act, despite the fear, you are teaching your brain that the unknown isn't always a catastrophe. Sometimes, it's an opportunity. Sometimes, it's joy. You're essentially updating your brain's software. You're showing it. See, I took that risk and I didn't die. In fact, it was okay. Maybe even good. The more evidence you collect, the quieter the alarm bells will become. The voice of self-doubt will still whisper, but it won't be shouting anymore. You'll be able to hear it, acknowledge it, and say, "Thanks for the warning, but I've got this." This isn't easy. It's uncomfortable. It requires you to sit with anxiety and tolerate uncertainty. But the alternative is to stay in a self-imposed prison, forever wondering what could have been. Your life is waiting for you on the other side of that overthinking, on the other side of that urge to sabotage. If you've made it this far, there's a part of you that knows you're ready to stop hiding. Save this video before your brain hides it again. You might need this reminder. True self-care isn't just bubble baths. It's doing the hard work of unlearning the patterns that keep you small. It's learning to be your own greatest advocate instead of your own worst enemy. You deserve to see what happens when you don't give up on yourself. Share this with someone who overthinks in silence. They might need to hear this, too. Thanks for watching.